I was in one of my states where I was just totally depressed and confused. So I opened the Bible, and I remember something like, why are you stressed out? Today is a day of joy. I read that, and all of a sudden, I realized God loved me right there. And it just hit me like an atom bomb. I mean, it was so, I just felt it so powerfully. I was like, God loves me. And it just went like inside. I felt like a newborn baby. It's like I was seeing everything for the first time.
For many years, I didn't tell anybody. My Jewish brother had gone off and become a Christian. I didn't tell anybody that he was in this religious community in Alaska. I mean, I would say that he was a scientist or that he was a researcher and he was in Alaska looking at fish farming, or I don't even know what I said, but I made up a variety of lies. Only because it was just too many questions. You know, people would start asking all these questions, and I didn't understand why he was there, so I couldn't explain to other people. At first, when he had started to have these religious experiences, it almost made us closer. He didn't tell my mother because he knew she would be very freaked out, and he told me. And so I remember initially feeling really close to him again and very special and happy that he had chose to confide in me. But then, very soon thereafter, it became clear that these religious feelings were actually going to take him away from me. He became Christian and moved to a small island in Alaska. He joined this community called The Farm and, you know, started to think of them as his new family.
What I need to work on is my relationship with God, and let the chips fall where they may in the family thing. I mean, I can't put that as the priority. I've got to put God as the priority.
I don't think you can give up being Jewish. Many parents have children who go off and choose different lifestyles that take them to different countries, and they don't see each other very often. But it's sad, and and Nana used to say, I'm lonesome for him. Remember, Nana used to say, oh, I'm so lonesome for you. And I feel the same way, that, you know, it's too bad that during these 10 very important years, from 22 or 21, now 32, that we've had very little contact, and I've...
Do you still have, do you still hold out a hope that he'll leave there?
Oh, I guess I don't really try to think about it. My friends try to console me and saying, well, look, he's not on drugs, you know, he's not living homeless on the street. It's just that, you know, I, as his mother, saw him as someone who had so much potential. I think there still is a feeling of a lot of guilt and responsibility that somehow you didn't do something right, and that's why this all happened. And I don't know how aware children are, or how aware specifically Mark Ander has been, of our distress.
I remember these sessions, and I'm sure you've had them without me also, of just going round and round in circles and trying to sort of talk reason. I mean, the one I remember the most is when he came home for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about the devil. That's what really upset me. He had been indoctrinated. My intelligent 22-year-old son had never talked like that before he went to this farm. People had the devil in them, and that New York was full of sin and evil, and yes, you know, yes, that's part of it too. but that he was dividing the world into black and white.
I think my mother, more than I, felt Mark had been kidnapped and brainwashed. Mark seemed to be a whole different person, and we didn't know what to make of who he was now. I think it was particularly upsetting to me in that I have followed very much in the path of how we were raised, and you know, I consider myself Jewish and I'm very proud to be Jewish, and that he just threw all that over felt like sort of an affront. In New York, where we grew up, we were as Jewish as anybody else I knew. Our grandparents on both sides were Jewish, they spoke Yiddish, they were very proud of being Jewish.
This is when I was still Goldwater.
How old were you, Aunt Beatty?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 20, 21, 22, something like that. This is me when I was 2 years old.
Was that taken?
I don't know, I was 2 years old.
But that must have been here in New York, right?
You know, I was born in Manhattan. This here is my great-grandparents. They were from Latvia, you know that. I'm the only one left. Oh, here, look. Mark. What do you hear from him? You say he's happy?
Well, I haven't seen him in 3 years.
But that's too bad. And instead of you having a brother, you don't have any close of your generation. You've been there a long time. How many years?
10 years.
10? How old is he now?
He's 32.
Why couldn't he join something or other, one of those crazy cults here?
But is it a crazy cult? We don't know that.
Is it?
Well, what do you think?
I think all cults are a little crazy.